Tony T here with our college football pick show here for Tuesday. We have 10 games, so that'll take us to 18. So this is part 2. We'll get all 58. We're going to do it in 6 parts. So this is part 2 of 6. So we got 10 games here for you today. Before we get to just a couple things, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NFL, we have Major League Baseball, and more. It is a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Remember, visit Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site. Showcase the top cappers in our industry. Click the link to the hot cappers and get signed up for one of our long-term passes. You'll see our cappers, they do perform very well here. We'll put the college football numbers up there. You can see guys like Collins Brown who have been on fire. Hollywood Sam is on fire here in college football. Click the links, get signed up to one of the long-term passes. You'll find our premium picks here on the side of the page. Each capper can designate one best bet per sport per day, so we have them up there as well as a $15 premium pick for you as well. Each capper can designate one of their premium picks as a $15 premium pick to really showcase their service. You'll find our premium picks at the top of the page, drop down menu here for free picks, and of course our promo code. You can save 20% off all premium pick packages when you use the promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access our page by clicking the link in the description, then the All Cappers tab, and get signed up. Also love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. All right, let's go ahead and let's get this one started. Kentucky versus Ole Miss college football pick Saturday. Kentucky improved to 4-0 after their 31-23 home win to Northern Illinois. Run game really sputtered for the Wildcats against the MAC team. Quarterback Will Levis completed 69% of his throws, 4 touchdowns, nearly 12 yards per pass attempt in that game. Now, the Penn State transfer has been Akron in his 2 seasons with the Wildcats. Defensively, they held NIU to 327 yards. Ole Miss improved to 4-0 with their 35-27 home win to Tulsa. Rebels ran the ball 51 times in the win for 308 yards. Jackson Dart, 13 of 24 for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. The concern about is Ole Miss defense, giving up 262 rushing yards on 43 carries. Dart has averaged 11.5 rushes the past 2 games. Now, got to respect the win for the Wildcats going into Florida with a 10-point decision there. Kentucky is defending the run and recording 3.2 sacks a game. The play will be Kentucky +7. Texas State versus James Madison college football pick Saturday. Texas State improved to 2-2 after the 34-0 home win to FCS school Houston Christian behind 479 yards. Bobcats have been held to under 300 yards in all games against FCS opponents. Arkansas State transfer quarterback Lane Hatcher is completing 63% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, 6.7 yards per pass attempt. James Madison comes off the come from behind 32-28 road win at Appalachian State. Dukes overcame a 28-3 deficit late in the second quarter. James Madison shut out App State in the final 36 minutes of that game. Defense shut down the Mountaineers' run game and forced 2 turnovers. JMU quarterback Todd Centillo threw for 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 7.3 yards per pass attempt on App State. On the season, Centillo is completing 63% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, no picks, 8.4 yards per pass attempt. Bobcats averaging only 1.5 yards a carry on the ground this season. JMU holding opponents to just 208 yards a game. It'll be tough for the Bobcats to score in this spot. The play will be Texas State and James Madison under 51.5. UMASS versus Eastern Michigan college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. UMass 1-3 after their 28-0 road defeat at Temple. Minutemen were held to 259 yards and been held to under 300 yards in all 4 games, including against FCS Stony Brook. Passing game produced 80 yards on 26 attempts. Quarterback Gino Campiotti is a running style quarterback, averaging nearly 14 rushes a game, 4.5 yards per attempt. He is completing only 49% of his passes for 3.4 yards per pass attempt. Eastern Michigan fell to 2-2 after their 50-31 home defeat to MAC foe Buffalo. A poor defensive performance by the Eagles, allowing 498 yards, 297 passing on 29 attempts. The EW run game rushed for just over 4 yards to carry. Quarterback Austin Smith had 190 passing yards in defeat, 10 yards per pass attempt. It is a threat to run the football, averaging 10 rushes a game. The past 2 starts, 6.3 per attempt. Now, Eastern Michigan did pile up 315 rushing yards on Arizona State in their road win. UMass, their offense has not been good enough to exploit the weaknesses of the Eagles' defense. Minutemen are allowing 4.7 yards per rush, and now we'll have trouble here against this running style quarterback. The play here will be Eastern Michigan here at -19.5. Northern Illinois and Ball State college football pick Saturday. NIU fell to 1-3 after their 31-23 road defeat at Kentucky. Huskies fell short defending the pass, allowing 303 yards on only 26 attempts. They ran for about 4 yards a carry on the Wildcats. Huskies quarterback Rocky Lombardi missed the Kentucky game with a knee injury and went with backup Ethan Hampton. He did throw for 196 yards, a touchdown, and 7.8 yards per pass attempt against Kentucky in defeat. Ball State fell to 1-3 with the 44-23 road defeat at Georgia Southern. Ball State moved the football on the Eagles in defeat, posting 496 yards. Defense gave 474 yards on Georgia Southern with 310 passing on 40 attempts. Paddock is averaging 63% completion rate, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks, and 6.5 yards per pass attempt. Now, NIU pass defense a concern here, but Huskies showed they can get points on Vanderbilt and Tulsa, so the play here will be on Northern Illinois and Ball State to go over total of 60.5. Oregon State and Utah college football pick Saturday. Oregon State fell to 3-1 with their 17-14 home defeat to USC. Beavers wasted a great defensive performance by gaining only 320 yards on the Trojans, but they did run for nearly 5 yards a carry on USC. But the -4 turnover margin was the undoing, with Chance Nolan throwing 4 picks. Now, Nolan is completing 61% of his passes with 7 touchdowns, 6 picks, and 8.8 yards per attempt. Utah comes up off the 34-13 road win at Arizona State. Utes really knifed through the Sun Devils defense for 465 yards behind a balanced attack. Defense held ASU to 6 rushing yards and 20 carries. Quarterback Cameron Rising threw for 260 yards on Arizona State, averaging 9 yards per pass attempt. On the season, he's completing 2/3 of his passes, 8.4 yards per attempt, an improvement over last season. It's a big revenge game for the Utes. Remember, Oregon State beat Utah in their home field, 42-34 behind 468 yards, 260 rushing. Beavers in their lone road game did give up 32 points and 494 yards on Fresno State, needing a 2-yard touchdown as time expired. Oregon State allowing 4.7 yards per carry on the ground, 151 rushing per game. Tough spot here to play USC and Utah in back-to-back games and having to travel in the toughest home field in the Pac-12 in Utah. Beavers not getting pressure on the quarterback, just 1.2 sacks a game. The play here will be Utah minus 10.5. Bowling Green versus Akron college football pick Saturday. Bowling Green fell to 1-3 with their 45-14 road defeat at Mississippi State. Falcons gave up 420 yards passing to the Bulldogs on 54 attempts. Their run game really sputtered, 78 yards on 29 carries. Starting quarterback Matt McDonald did not play, and the backup Cameron Orth went 17-28 for 172 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick against Mississippi State. Akron fell to 1-3 with their 21-12 road defeat at Liberty. Zips moved the ball through the air, 269 yards. Quarterback DJ Irons, a high-volume passer, completing 63% of his passes, 6.1 per attempt. Bowling Green defense giving up 520 yards with 364 in the passing game this season with 73% completion rate. Going to back DJ Irons here as the Bowling Green's really issue at quarterback, as well as that we know that bad pass defense. The play here will be Akron plus 8.5. Navy versus Air Force college football pick Saturday. Navy improved to 1-2 after their 23-20 road overtime win at East Carolina. Midshipmen have owned the Pirates in recent seasons, so that was no surprise. They ran it for 191 yards on 66 carries. Navy limited the Pirates' run game to just 103 yards on 28 carries and dominated the time of possession by 14 minutes. Quarterback Ty Levitai was effective, completing 7 of 10 for 152 yards and a touchdown. Now, Air Force are 3-1 after their 48-20 home win to a rebuilding Nevada team. Falcons a really strong offensive performance behind 461 rushing yards on 75 carries. They defended well, holding the Wolfpack to 242 yards. Air Force quarterback Zeke Daniels is completing 41% of his passes with 8.1 yards per pass attempt. A running style quarterback averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. Minutemen doing a great job defending the run. I'm sorry, the midshipmen. The midshipmen are doing a great job at defending the run. Air Force defense allowing nearly 5 yards a carry. Navy came off their bye week and showed great improvement in their underdog win at East Carolina. Remember, they did the same thing last year, going off their bye week and showing good improvement after they fired the offensive coordinator. They reassigned him back then in 2021. Of course, the triple option teams, they know how to defend each other. The play will be Navy plus 14. East Carolina versus USF college football pick Saturday. East Carolina fell to 2-2 after their 23-20 home overtime defeat to Navy. Pirates really struggled with the football, 103 yards on 28 carries. They did lose the time of possession battle by 14 minutes. Offense really couldn't get going. They held to 3 points in the first 3 quarters. Quarterback Holton Ahlers is completing 66% of his passes with 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 8 yards per pass attempt. USF fell to 1-3 after their 41-3 road defeat at Louisville. Bulls offense poorly performed with only 158 yards. The running game produced only 48 yards on 35 carries. Baylor transfer quarterback Gary Bohannon has performed poorly, completing just 53% of his passes. No touchdowns, 6 picks, 5.5 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the Bulls gave 542 yards to the Cardinals with 283 rushing on 46 carries. USF defense gave up 6.6 yards to carry on the ground and 70% completion rate. Pirates scoring problems should clear up here against a bad Bulls defense. Also, Bohannon, his form has been poor. The play here will be East Carolina at -9. Fresno State versus UConn college football pick. Saturday, Fresno State fell to 1-2 after their 45-17 road defeat at USC. Bulldogs defense surrendered 517 yards to the Trojans with 233 rushing. Bulldogs starting quarterback Jake Haener has a leg injury, will not play in this game coming off the bye week. Logan 5 starts and did complete 11 of 12 for 140 yards against the Beavers defense. UConn fell to the Trojans defense. UConn fell to 1-4 after their 41-10 road defeat at NC State. Another bad offensive performance, 160 yards in defeat. Back-to-back games where the passing yardage couldn't get over 40. They have lost by 31 or greater in their 3 games against the FBS. Freshman quarterback Zion Turner completing 55% of his passes, 4.4 yards per pass attempt. It's a long trip for Fresno State behind a backup quarterback, but 5 was accurate. 5 has been accurate, and this UConn offense has just been unimpressive. The play will be Fresno State here at -23.5. Rutgers versus Ohio State college football pick Saturday. Rutgers falls to 3-1 after their 27-10 home defeat to Iowa. Scarlet Knights were doomed by turnovers, give up an interception and fumble return for touchdowns. Defense held the Hawkeyes to 277 yards and defended the run well. Now, starting quarterback Noel Vidral has not played, but indicators are he's close to returning, could debut here. Rutgers is running for 4.6 yards per attempt and defensively holding teams to 251 yards. Ohio State, they moved to 4-0 after their 52-21 home win to Wisconsin. Buckeyes rolled up 539 yards in the win. Balanced attack here with 258 rushing yards, 281 through the air on 27 attempts. Now, C.J. Stroud completing 70% of his passes, 11 yards per pass attempt. Buckeyes blew out Rutgers 52-13 last season. Scarlet Knights, a run game doing well, and if Vitro plays, it'll be a plus. Have to respect the Scarlet Knights defense that holds opponents to 251 yards, although against weaker competition. The play here will be on Rutgers at plus the 40.5 points. That's our college football show here for today, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, set notifications when we go live. I'm Tony T.